Miss Elaine Robinson of Ghetto Stories. Welcome to the show and thank you for joining us. Jada, man, take it over.
Greetings, greetings.
Mama Alien.
What
Greetings.
one of their pan? Greetings, greetings.
You ready?
Me ready.
Okay. Now, this is a woman that has traveled. Her name is synonymous with strength. And so we wanted you to anchor this conversation. So this is our last guest for those that are watching, but not the least. So the first question I have, and you know what? Because I see a intergenerational thing happening here with you
I love it. I
and then
love it.
Brooke and the
I'm
ladies
crazy about Brooklyn.
and then Brooklyn. So Brooklyn, I want you to ask.
I'm in love with Brooklyn.
Yeah, you like her. God, you could
I'm in
see
love her
you.
bad.
You could see
Me
you in
love
her.
her.
You could see you back in the
Yeah,
idea. Yeah,
one little fireball. One
yeah,
little fire. Me like
yeah.
fire. She just fiery.
A true a Brooklyn that.
So
Yes,
Brooke,
man. She
ask.
fiery.
I
Me
need you
love
to.
it.
I need you to ask that question. What makes you boom, boom, boom? That's for you.
Oh,
Ask her.
as in what makes me strong?
We're
Um,
gonna let Brooklyn ask you that. I need that transition. Oh, you're on mute. Unmute, Brooklyn. Go ahead.
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. We can. No, now you're on. We can hear you. Go ahead.
Can you hear me?
I can hear
Okay.
you.
Oh, okay. So my question is, yes, I love you too, darling. We need to sip some tea one day and talk some tea as well. But before we
You
do
understand.
that,
I me love your vibes, baby girl. I love your vibes. I'm a vibes girl, and I love vibes, and I love your vibes and your energy.
thank
Love it.
you. So my question to you is, what makes you so strong and powerful?
Strong and powerful. Oh my goodness. I think my strength comes from owning my story, and that's where my strength comes from. I own my story in the sense of my imperfection rules my world.
Mm,
I wear no S on my chest because I'm super nothing in
mm.
that sense, because a lot of our women, especially black women, have been walking around with these S's on our chests like Superman, and we're dying. So I own that, to say that that's one thing I don't do. So I think that's my superpower.
Can you repeat that one more time for the people, for the ladies way in the back that probably had in their AirPods and it wasn't, wasn't charged up?
But
Please, one more
but hold
time,
on. So
because they'll
Mama
think.
Yes,
Elaine.
yes.
So am I to believe that when we were making this advertisement, because I'm listening to Tasha and I'm listening to you as well, and maybe me and Jada and Brooklyn, where when we said what makes you so strong, we're uh, is part of the issue that we're putting too much pressure on you guys.
No. So the conversation is about education. So we were educated with this whole strength, and you got to be strong, and you got to be strong, and we were breaking down, right? And like the sister before me, Roses. Am I saying her name?
Yeah, Tasha Roses.
Tasha Roses, and I got to big her up because I'm sitting here and I'm in love with everybody you guys brought on, because they were so real in regards to the stories. So we were educated backwards in the sense of this whole I've got to be strong. I'm waving the strong. I'm the everything, and we're falling apart because we're not having the right conversations, right? And somewhere along the line, somebody told us, or we got this idea that it was we need to be these powerhouses, right? And we were powerhouses in the wrong spaces, because we were powerhouses using our health. Our health was diminishing. We were in powerhouses at home trying to hold down families. Our families were falling apart because we were here, there, and everywhere trying to hold them down. So lots of things got misguided, misinformation. My sisters I know that were on depression medication, anxiety medication, all kind of things happening, and they weren't allowed. They didn't use a lot of the resources, and they didn't allow themselves to break down. So they just kept going, kept going, kept going. And when they broke down, they were in emergencies. And some of them
Yeah.
never made it out.
Because it's just too much, too much.
Yeah, it's too much.
So, when you made your opening statement, we had Miss Makila. She said that that was powerful. The
Yeah.
statement. Oh, is you see
That
there it says,
was.
"Wow, that's powerful." So she said
Yes.
that was powerful. The piece I want to ask you now is, you've been in the city a long time. Everybody,
Me the pan road long time. Me
yeah,
do
that
road.
part, you do,
Me do road.
yeah,
Should
yeah,
do
Me
trod
do
long
road.
road.
time, yeah,
Me
trod
do
long time.
me do
See,
road before it was cool to say that.
is it? So
Yeah.
here's the thing. Um, what your story is deep. It has depth.
Oh
It
gosh.
has.
Hmm.
So we can't go into every facet of it. But
No
what I
man.
want to know is what led you to go into the direction of, I gotta do for my community. I gotta give back. I gotta be eventually walk into Mama Elaine's shoes. What was
Oh
that?
my.
What was that for you? What happened?
Um. It led to me, a young lady putting a knife in my back and put me in intensive care for about 6 weeks with with 10 bags of blood, and the doctor looking at my mom, telling my mom, I'm not sure what's happening here. She's gonna make it. They operated on me on the stretcher with no anesthetic, most of
Us
it.
too. Us too.
And when I came out of that, everything that I thought I knew, I didn't. Everybody around me that I thought were friends, I realized that they all knew that this young lady was deciding what she wanted to do to me before anybody even had the nerve to tell me. So I had to reevaluate my entire world. It was a reevaluation of my entire world, nothing that I knew. I was doing community, um, but it wasn't really, I wasn't entrenched. I saw many things. I broke many rules, which I still continue to do, but I wasn't entrenched deeply just yet. And after I came out of that, and I said, I had to have make that decision where, it was a conversation with Father God, like why you there was be a reason why you decided that that was not the end for me.
Yeah.
So I've started to attach myself to things and people that I felt were influencers in community.
Mhm.
So I ended up at Toronto Housing. I met Miss Jean Augustine, and she was just, oh, I like you. You know what I mean? I just met some really good people who started to, they saw the feistiness that like beautiful Brooklyn over there.
Brooklyn. Yeah.
And they took me under their wing. You know, I had teachers that said to me, we just love the way you can just open your mouth and this room is full of people. So they just started, you know, pouring into me, like really pouring into me with expectation that, I'm expecting after this, something good's going to happen for you.
So you
And
you
they
use
just kept,
that energy.
yeah, and they just kept pouring into me. And I said, they don't know me, but they love me. And this love that they have for me, I can't disappoint them. I
Mm.
can't disappoint them. So that's
Mm.
where the foundation got built. Right, right,
Yeah.
right in my neighborhood.
Mhm.
Right in my as a community center right next door to where I lived. And
Yeah.
the folks just kept pouring into me. A beautiful gentleman, and his name is Ben Obarg. May his soul rest. And I walk up to him and I said to him, how come nobody looks like me inside here? I want a job. He says, what do you do? I said, I can dance. Yo, I'm a bad time, you're a big time dancer.
Yeah.
But I
Brooklyn a
but
dancer, you know.
yeah, yeah, and there was a desk job. And back in those days, this was 1986. So back in those days, the social service would pay an organization to have a person in the community on um a 1 year contract, right? So they brought me in, and I told them what I wanted to do, and I had a little dance group. And my little dance group, I started to teach. I started to learn a lot of things. So I said, they say each one teach one. So from you learn, you must teach. So I started to show him. My daughter was the driving force behind that. So me and her, we would dance. So I brought the other kids in. I started to teach them every kind of dancing I knew. I taught them, and I named her little group Young Ragamuffins. You
Mm-hmm.
understand? But the
Mm-hmm.
ragamuffin was play on words, because in between that, I taught them their Black history. We toured Toronto. We opened up for Mishimi would come up down and visit us all the time. We opened up for Jamaica Day. Every event that was around the GTA, they were calling me and my Elaine, can you and the Ragamuffins come? And that was the foundation. And it was just from people just believing before they believe in me, I had to believe in me. So I had to say these folks reach out to something. So I have to continue to build this foundation.
Yeah.
So
Deep, deep. So
yeah,
from there it just.
it just kept evolving. It just kept evolving. I would go in places and I was sophisticated roughneck, and I say it with love because I
Mm-hmm.
I, I was fearless.
I like
Like
that word.
I'm a sophisticated roughneck. I was fearless. I still am fearless. You understand? But like Roses says, you learn how to tone it according to the environments that you're in. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
So I would go in places and I'd be like, "Yo, I eat at things that one I do." And I remember one of the ladies said to me, Elaine, your message is beautiful, but we're not all idiots, and we would like to help you. You understand? And I would say, "Yo, burn that," and I would
I'm
walk, and they'd be like,
screaming
Elaine,
right now.
you can't talk like that, and I'd be like, okay, all right, cool, and show me what when I say, like, when I deal with. And they would invite me and my youths to places, and I'd be like, you invite my youth, then you better have good food for feed, how we not eat no pizza,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And I would do things like that. And when I worked for the city, they had this behavior where them like figure with nosebleed seat. So I say, yo, Bridget, everybody in the hood have a big dirty TV. We
Mm.
can sit down and see everything. So if you give a ticket, just because we're poor, don't ramp. If you give a ticket, you will behind.
Make sure them
You want behind home
Make
bench.
sure we
You
can
want
see.
behind. Yeah. So they did that.
I was
So
about to say, I was about to say that if Mama Elaine said them probably get the good tickets after too.
yeah, we
It's
did. We
funny.
did. We got behind home bench.
No,
We got
but
right behind home bench. That's where, because I said if you're giving something to somebody, right? Just because you might think they can't afford it doesn't mean you have to give them
Give them
crumbs,
the worst. Yeah,
that's a
exactly.
right?
fact.
So if you're gonna give me something, I'd rather you not give me nothing
Nothing
than
at
wanna
all.
give me crumbs. I'm not taking your crumbs, Bridget. And
Mhm.
that's what I do
Gentlemen,
with the youth then. And I
gentlemen,
would
that
tell
don't
them,
sound like me.
yeah, it
Say
was
that.
about advocating, teach them how to advocate. I had to learn to advocate for myself,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then I had some good people around me who, they saw the sophisticated roughneck. They're like, oh my God, she's raw, but she gets things done.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
It's the
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
realness. They like the
yeah,
realness.
Yeah.
yes,
And I know from there you worked with a lot of big organizations.
oh
You
yes,
you, you spoke at many big forums, many big events. You've been
yes,
motivational speaking. You've been mentoring. You've been pretty
yes.
much everything to the city over the last.
Yeah.
How many years have you been doing this work now?
This year will make 38.
38. Yeah, exactly. You see,
Yeah,
and you just gave us a piece. That's why I'm saying
documented.
we can't even get into it, but we know it's documented history, right?
Yes,
So Brooklyn, I want to go to Brooklyn for the next question here.
Yeah, so I have a question. So, Jada Man, first off, Jada Man's always, you see everything that you said? Jada Man's always telling me that. Weren't you telling me that the other day? Like, when sometimes I come across Jada Man's like, no, Brooklyn, you cannot speak to the people them like that. You have
yes,
to
yes,
speak to the people
yes,
them like this. He
yes,
does that to me all the
yes,
time. So I know
yes.
exactly what you're talking about. Wig sometimes gives me
Oh
that
yeah,
look like Brooklyn. I understand what you're saying, but we can't come across like that. We
yes,
can't do that. So I
yes,
understand that. So when it comes to myself, like, I love, people love coming to me and asking me like questions, and I always send out motivational stuff to like my girlfriends and things of that nature, and I'm always helping people with situations and stuff like that. How you said that you've been in the community working very hard, working at these places and stuff like that. How does somebody like myself or other females like ourselves get involved? Like, how do we get somebody, like, we've been doing all these events and stuff like that, but we're not where we want to be? What is some advice that you can give to us to help us get our other foot in the door, not just one
So
foot?
number one thing you have to do, you have to be patient. That is the first thing. So anything that you're doing, just do it authentically and move slow. You see the turtle just move and stick out his head just to say, yeah, I'm in the right direction. That's it. You have to be patient and study the places that you want to go, right? Anything in a hurry and anything with too much curry in a hurry, you don't want that.
You make
You don't
hurry,
want that.
yes.
Yeah, it just, you know what I mean? Anything rush get crushed. You see me?
Yo.
Anything rush get crushed. Remember that. So just take your time and surround yourself in places and spaces with people who are like-minded, right? So if you're building something, you have three type of foundation that you build with. If you build on sand, water wash it away. You build on sticks, as little fire touch it, it burn down. You see how when the house them burn down, them have to go take bulldoze down the brick. Those are the type of foundations that you want to build around you, right? So not because it look flashy and fancy, because right now a lot of things look very flashy and very fancy, and at the end of it, it has no foundation, right? So take your time, take your time with it, study it. You understand? And pay attention to all the people that have done it before you. Because there's lots of things that people have been there, done that before you did it, before I did it, before there's people that's been there, done that. We just have to study them, right? Don't start them though. Don't start them. Study them. There's a
Don't
difference.
start them. Study them.
Don't start
I
them.
like that.
Don't
Don't
start
start
them.
them. Study
Don't
them.
start
Don't
them.
start them.
Don't
Study them.
start them. Study them. Study them. Show up in places that you know that they're. Watch how they move. You know what I mean? Like I was listening to Roses, and she's talking about other things. Like just watch how you move in certain places and spaces that people are watching you, right? And the
All the
young lady
time.
before that, people are watching, and just as though they're watching you. Is so you watch them. You understand? With that keen, I'm ready to learn. Oh, I see. I saw it go. And there's
Yeah.
many doing it. So that's what you have to do. But you be patient with yourself. I hope I
Thank
answered the
you.
question for you.
Yes, you did. You
Mm-hmm.
really did. So sorry, I know the guys want to talk to you, but I'm gonna hog you for a little bit before I go over to them.
That's all right. My
So
lovely. You have
so the
me.
next so my next question is, when it comes to females, it's really hard for us. You're a big one, so you've seen
Yes.
it all. You understand what I mean. You've been through
Yes.
the trenches, so you know what it is. So as a female, we find it very extremely hard as women, because in the society, in our society, they tend to put women against women, and they never like to put men against men. But for some reason, it's always, if a female is, great at this, a great singer, they're always trying to put a next great singer next to her and try to see who's better. But when it comes to men, it's like, okay, all of them are great singers. So what how hard did you ever come across, like, working with somebody, another female, that it was hard? Or when it comes to you, it's like, it doesn't matter who you're working with, male or female, it is what it is type stuff?
Well,
Like,
well,
how do
I'm
you?
gonna put it. I'm gonna put it as raw and as real as I can to you, because that's who I am. First of all, me and woman never agree.
Mm,
Me and women never agree for years of my life, right? Because number one, I was a tomboy. So because of that, I couldn't get with the fancy. The females were fancy, they wear fancy hair and fancy things, and I was not into any of those things, right? It took me till the day I was getting married to put makeup on my face, and they wouldn't let me wear my running shoes, so I had to put on a high heel. It took me 2 weeks to practice to walk into that thing that I could able to say, okay, I won't drop down. You understand? So I was not I was not a female girly type. So when I got around females now, they didn't like that about me. They couldn't stand that. So me and them were always in some type of war. And if their man and if worse if a man was involved, because if their man was involved, it would be like, yo, you come look my man. And I'm just like, oh dear man, I don't even see him. I don't even see them, right? So those are some of the things that I experienced with the females around. So they didn't understand how powerful we are or we could be if we are together. So they would rather spend time, you know, fighting each other down. And they did that. And even now, as a grown woman, I still have those experiences in some of the places that I've worked. We still haven't, I don't know where or we picked that up from. You understand? Because I'm surrounded by some of the most beautiful and powerful women that have nurtured me, uplifted me, and I never felt like I was in any type of competition or anything. But in some of those workplaces and spaces, but the insecurity is not so much on you, it's on them.
Oh,
They're insecure
fact.
about themselves. When you see people behavior, it's not about you, it's about things that they're lacking in themselves. So
That's a
you
fact.
come in Brooklyn, you're a strong, vibrant, you have energy, and people gravitate to you. Some people just don't like that. You not for do people nothing for them to not like you.
That's a fact.
Right? Should I be speaking English or do I need translation?
No,
Like,
no, no.
No,
all right,
no,
because I don't
Oh,
want,
yeah. Don't worry.
no.
The way them
because
things that
when
work, we all
yes,
can chop captions after
yes,
for you
when I'm
understand.
passionate, when I'm
No, we're
passionate,
good.
I can't speak English. I
No,
when
no,
the passion leads me, I yeah.
Yeah, we're
no.
good.
I totally understand what you're saying.
Yes,
I
I
agree.
So,
don't know your audience, so I'm just honored to be. I noticed it was a lot of young people, so I'm like, I don't want to scare them. I
Oh,
don't want to scare them off, you know.
who understand them, not to
so,
understand.
so you know
Yes,
what? Let me touch on that insecurity piece, right? So for those women that are insecure, I mean, I think a lot of people have insecurities. Probably everybody has some sort of insecurity.
hmm
How does a woman build on her insecurities, where she's no longer insecure and she's moving towards being secure in whatever it is that she's insecure about?
I can only speak for myself. So for the longest time in my life, my insecurity came from the fact that I didn't have papers, as in certificates and diplomas. I didn't have any of those. So I was in places and spaces, and I went to the library and I read up on things. I'm that person. I'm a read, I'm a make sure I have the knowledge. So when they come start talking to me, you know what I mean? The guys used to call me, yo, you sound like Malcolm X, you're Mrs. X. So I was that person, right? But when I went into certain platforms, I didn't have I didn't have a high school diploma. I didn't have a college diploma. So for the longest time, I was very insecure in certain places because they when the conversations were done, I remember, you know, they'd say, "Oh, and what university did you go to?" You know, and I'd be like, "I haven't even been to high school yet, for real." And you know, but I was careful who I said that to. You know what I mean? So I had to own my own insecurity. And what did I do with that? I walked away from, you know, a big job that at that time was paying some big money. And I walked into SCAS and I said, I'm here for my high school diploma. You know, and they said, you know, you get credits for being whatever. I said, I want to start exactly where I left off. I left off in grade 9. So I went back, did what I had to do, and then I started feeling more secure. And then when that was done now, it was time for college. So at 36, I got a high school diploma. At 41, I got a college diploma. And I saw the way how people behave towards me because some people were like, they didn't believe that I didn't have that. And then you had the other ones where, oh, wow, you know, now you can, no, it's like almost, I can invite you to the table now because you got the documents. So,
But
but I had to own that. That was my own insecurity because they couldn't business one way or the other.
so
But that was for me.
it's interesting how you mentioned how, like you said, you you were in the spaces that you needed to be in. You were around notariable people that somebody in your position wanted to be in, but and they're looking at you saying, she's with us, she's one of us, she has all these university credentials, but you're just to yourself, you're saying, oh my gosh, you don't want to reach out as much as you can because
Hmm.
of that insecurity. So from what I
Yes.
understand, it was when you made that decision to say, you know
Hmm.
what, I'm not going to let this insecurity hold me back. at my age, I'm gonna go back to school, start from where I left off, and just like you said, at that point, I think you said it opened up a lot more opportunities for you.
Yeah, yes, it did. But let me be real with you, right? But, a situation happened, and my feelings hurt, and it was really hurt. We were at a meeting, and them times I was working for the race relations department, and we were the manager was introducing us, and I remember this like it was yesterday, and this was 80, probably 89, and he was introducing us, and he said, "This is Dale, and Dale has a degree in criminology, and this is Elaine, but she's just really good with the youths."
Oh, yeah.
And yo, it's like the man cut out my belly bottom, because I've been telling him that I want to go back to school. But here's a joke though. Dale knew nothing. I was the one that was training Dale on everything. Oh, the only thing she had that was beautiful, bright, and shiny
Was that credential?
was that credential. Right? But do you see the introduction?
Yeah.
This is Dale, and she has a degree in criminology. This is Elaine. She's just really good
He's
with the
just
youth.
really good with the youth.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see how, like, to other people it may not have meant nothing, and they're probably like, "Oh, Elaine, yes, she's great with the youth." But to you, you're like, "I know I'm more than just good with the youths. I'm
Yes.
training this person that you gave this
Yes.
introduction to, and I'm
Yes.
just good with the youth."
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
and you know a big thing that you said through all of this with the insecurity. There are just two pieces. One piece is, yeah, um paperwork matters in this society. It
Yes,
does.
it does.
It does matter. I know that,
It
you
does.
know that. I think we all know
Yes.
that the paperwork, and when we're saying
Yes.
paperwork, we're talking credentials with your name on it. So if you
Yes.
have to go through it for a year,
Hmm.
2 years, three, just go through it. You
Yes.
know, short-term sacrifice for long-term gain.
Yes.
And the next piece that spoke to me, and I wrote it down here, was that you basically said acknowledge your insecurity,
Yes.
change it, or leave it alone.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
Acknowledge it. If it's there, it's bothering you, acknowledge it. Okay, you're one with it, you're aware of it. Now, what are you going to do about it? You could either do something or leave it alone.
Yes.
And if you leave it alone, you better leave it alone. Like, stop talking
Yes.
about it, stop addressing it. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So that's what I got from what you said there.
But
Because it comes
let's
back to haunt you. If you say that you've left it, then you have to leave it alone. But every time you're in places and spaces where you get reminded of it, you know what I mean, and then you get defensive, because you know when somebody says something, and they remind you, and you're like, yo, idiot, let go that, and then they come back again with it, and you realize that you have not fully let it go. Then it's gonna keep coming, and it keeps coming, and it keeps coming, to the point where there are moments where you're gonna show ignorance with it. Are you be in the wrong place, and somebody says the wrong thing, and you just want to take off
Yeah,
them
and
face?
because it's eating you on the
Yes,
inside. Yes, you
yes,
acknowledged it, but
yes.
you didn't get past it.
No,
So yeah,
no.
you're trying to mask it, and then somebody's gonna say something that's gonna set you off, and then
Yes,
boom, here comes this
yes,
angry black woman or whatever you want to
yes,
call it, and
yes,
angry black woman.
yes,
We're always angry. That's what they
yeah,
yes.
say. We're always angry.
So I was telling me not angry. Me never angry. Me just passionate,
yeah,
right?
Yeah. See,
I'm
thank
never angry.
you.
I
and
am
that's the
very
same thing
passionate,
Tasha
and
said.
the more passionate I get, is the
The
louder my
more,
voice. The
yes,
louder my voice comes. So if you are around me, and a couple when we get loud and we get excited, and yeah man, and I've had people, Elaine, are you okay? Is something happening? Are you guys fighting? And we're like, no, we're just happy and we're
Jada.
excited.
I
Yeah.
am so happy that you're saying that. Did you hear what she said, Jada Man? I don't know if you heard that, sir. It's
I
not that
missed
I
it.
am angry, okay? It's that I am very passionate about what I'm speaking about. When it comes to certain things, you know how passionate I get when it comes to certain things, when it comes to dancing, when it comes to music, when it comes to acting, when it comes to hosting, when there's certain things I'm talking about that I'm really, really passionate about, my voice will get a little bit louder and stuff
Yeah.
like that. But I'm not mad. I'm
Mhm.
just passionate about it. That's it.
All right.
That's about it.
So let me segue with that. Um, so Mama Elaine, I'm gonna
Yeah.
ask you a question here.
Mm-hmm.
So please describe for me or give me the attributes of a woman, of a strong woman. What are some of the attributes that she must have to survive and thrive?
To be strong, you have to be fearless, unapologetically fearless. So whatever it is that you're doing, you take it on full strength. You're not looking back, and you know, no vulgarity. I'm not trying to get vulgar, but you just can't give a shit as to what anybody thinks. Because if you're gonna be strong, right, understand that you can't be wrong and strong, right? You got to be
Strong, strong.
strong, right? You can't be wrong and strong. You got to be strong and and passionate about what it is that you do and believe in what it is that you do and understand what all that means. So you take that with you everywhere, everywhere that you go. That is what is going to make you solid. So you can't be wishy-washy. You can't be yet yesterday and tomorrow. You know what I mean? So you gotta be strong and be solid in the things that come out of your mouth, in the actions that you do, in everywhere that you go. You can't show up half-ass. You gotta be there all the time, all the time. And the presentation is number one, right? But if it's not authentic, it's not gonna stand. So you have to be authentic in the strength.
Mm, if it's not authentic, it isn't gonna stand.
It
Big
isn't gonna
point.
No,
stand. So you flaky. You flake off. Like if you know they're going on a certain things and they're expecting a certain thing from you, and then you get flaky. Then they'll see that that's not real.
that's a fact.
You know what I mean? They'll see it. I'll tell them when I go to places. This is my expectation, right? And I must speak, and I always tell them if you have any sensitive people in the audience, tell them to sit at the back because I don't want to be talking and watching them. May I say something and them I roll them eye and me I forgot to see them to me go engage in a conversation with them. You know what I mean? So if I have any sensitive people, let them understand what they're coming into. Let them hold on to their sensitivity. Nothing wrong with that, but address it when it's needed. Right? So don't if I say something, no, if I say black woman, I might have said black woman, but not all black women. I'm not here to represent all black women. I'm here to represent me, Elaine, aka Miss Ghetto Story. That's who I'm here to represent, right? But I stand, but as Maya Angelou said, I came as one, but I stand as 10,000. So I stand strong for my sisters. I stand strong for them.
Yes,
And that's what
yes.
we have to do. We have to stand strong for each other, authentically strong, not wishy-washy.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? And that bandwagon fan thing. Me like her, so me jump on it. Idiot things that. Right?
Yeah.
So we have to stand solid all the way across them, not for when it looks good.
Yeah.
Nope.
So,
Mama
go
Elaine,
ahead, read
Mama
that.
Elaine, Mr. Blacks from Black Reaction said, "What's up?"
That's my sweetheart.
He
My
said more
one and
than that.
only.
He said
That's
more than
my
that. Put it up.
that's
Put it
my
up.
that's my
Blacks.
sweetheart.
I put it up ready. He said, "It's a pleasure to see you on the platform."
Oh, it's an honor
Yeah.
to be here. You see, from the other day, and I'm a put it out there. From the other day, I've been having some real deep conversations with some young people because when you reach a certain age and stage, and the way I love young people, I've been asking a lot of them, am I still relevant to
Mm,
you? Because I find that when you mentioned it when we got on here, when you said intergenerational, because the
mm-hmm.
young lady that came on is just a couple, what, a year or two older than my oldest,
Mm-hmm.
right? So I'm looking and I'm listening and I'm saying, I know I have a lot of value left in me. I
Of
know I
course.
have a lot of love for young people, but this thing that we don't seem to be able to communicate with each other because you got things that I need to learn from you, and I have
Mhm.
things in here that I need to share with you.
Exactly.
Right? So I've been having this conversation. So when I got invited to be on this platform and I'm looking, I'm here praying. Trust me, man, I lie to no, me I pray all day. Me I pray on the sites them. And I'm seeing a lot of young people. So
Mm,
I'm saying, all right. I feel honored to be at this table because I've been called moms throughout my entire. I got that name moms when I was like 32.
mhm.
You understand? So whole heap of number them there. You understand?
Yeah.
So when you tried in certain, you have certain numbers. So I'm just listening and I'm saying, am I still relevant? But when I got on and I've been listening to everybody, and I said, yes, I am still relevant because there's so much that we still don't know about each other. And there's still so much that we have to learn from each other. But we have to be open,
And with
open.
yes, and with that said, tell us a bit about Ghetto Stories.
Oh my goodness.
People may have been hearing this going around, and you coined you said you miss Ghetto Stories. So please let us know what that's about and what's next for Miss
You see the
Elaine
smile from my
Robinson.
face, me a skin teeth. All 32 of them, you see. Mm. So,
Yes.
ghetto, getting higher education to teach others. Number
Mm.
one, I'm redefining how we use and understand that word. Because everywhere we go, when we hear, as I say, ghetto, somebody go start call out Jane Finch, Regent, or Malvern. No, it's beyond that. It's us telling our powerful stories of people who've overcome from insurmountable odds. Ghetto has nothing to do with white people, black people, green people. It has to do with the journey. It's all about the journey. And yes, there is a moment when being from a hood, adds to it. But that's not the be all that ends all to what Ghetto Story is all about. So I'm showcasing the stories of people, showcasing my story first because people need to see and know it because you're hearing a lot about this, so you need to hear about the foundation of a person that has a story. So I'm telling my story out there for young people, especially, and young women to just own your story and move with it. And as each step that you go at certain age, you don't go through stuff anymore. We grow through stuff now. We just grow through things. We not go through nothing. Leave that for the other people. Then. We don't go through nothing. We're growing through. So we have to learn from each other, learn from what all our brethrens them. I've seen brethrens and sisters who have gone through some things. You know what I mean? Because I said I did the whole 90s hustle, you know, on the corner, do the thing while me are working at people in place, I do my hustle. Been there,
Mm,
done that, right? And I saw what it did. I saw a lot of people in my age group in the hustling. None of we know nothing for sure for the hustle now. You understand?
mhm,
We should have been building empires. So now we have to learn financial management. Now
mhm.
we have to learn what it means to, we have to take our stories, go backwards. So they say, in order to go know where you're going, you need to know where you're coming from. So that's the foundation of the story. Where are we coming from? You know what I mean? And why is it that we're still where we're at having these same conversations?
Mhm.
What are we missing? So that's what the ghetto story is all about. Can we have these powerful conversations? Can I look at the young people like this beautiful firehouse here and just hug her through? I'm hugging her,
Mhm.
hugging her just by seeing and listening because I see that there's so much growth. Two powerful young black men sitting on a platform talking about the things that are going on in our community. That's powerful.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? That's what the ghetto story is all about. Higher education. What is higher education? Education for me, street first, because I learned everything that I needed to learn in the street before I arrived at any institution.
Life experience.
Yes. So we have to understand and package it. Don't be afraid of it. When I go
Mhm.
in certain places, people used to make me feel uncomfortable. Oh my God, you're so young and you have kids. There's a moment where my last two and my grandson was in the same daycare.
Mhm.
And he hold up his hand and grandma, and they'd be like, "Grandma, who's your grandma?" You know what I mean? I'm
Mhm.
like, I am. I'm the grandma. I'm a grandma 36, and let's
Mhm.
talk. Like be owning the stories them enough to learn from them. You know what I mean? And share share within your community what that means. So there's somebody out there, that needs to have many young women I brought back to SCAS, so they got their grade 12.
Mhm.
Because I'll be like, I wanna do.
Well, Miss
When I
Elaine, the
sit down
thing
on
is,
your chat. Yeah.
there's a lot of people in the comments that are like co-signing what you're saying and
Yes.
bigging you up, for the things that you're doing. Um, we also one of our guests last week, Tiffany from Brazen Beauties,
Ah,
she's like, make sure you tell me auntie, me say what's up.
my
So
auntie, I'm a
I
little
just
niece, that
I
man.
just
I
love
mean,
how all the dots we're doing are just connected. You know what I mean? We had
yes.
Tiffany as a guest last week, and she was talking about her story and talking about her business. And she's
Mm-hmm.
a woman in business that I loved what she was doing. So we had her on, and it's just fitting that we have Auntie Elaine
What
on
you
next week. So
mean?
Tiffany said to shout you out. So big up Brazen Beauty
Yes.
Toronto. Make sure you guys
Mhm.
check them out on the Instagram as
Tell
well.
her tonight I didn't get to put on my pretty girl lashes. Because usually
Ah,
I rock all her gear. I wash my pretty girl lashes and sorry, tonight the hair, cause Mr. Me was getting ready
Yeah.
to didn't get ready to make y'all see all, let the edges lay down nicely
sure,
and
Tiffany,
flash up one of them
we
lace
love
front
you
and
same
go and,
way.
and
Tiffany,
flash the
we
So
love
lashes
you.
them because so we have to do it at times.
yeah.
And I want to
So
Yeah.
big up Hotter Fire Can't Cool on the IG as well. We have a lot of people that's tuning in, bigging up Mama Elaine on
for
for the
sure.
stories and the words. So big up, big up.
For sure. You know what I wanted to mention? So you're talking about the ghetto stories, and there's people don't know that there's power in the story, in storytelling. There's healing in
Trust me.
storytelling. You spoke about it. You said that a story, knowing where you came from, meaning intergenerational, hearing from those
Mhm.
that came before you, can
Yes.
help you fill some of those gaps.
Yes.
Help you feel. So a lot of the times when people need a heal, and they're wounded, the wound is open, right? It needs to
Yes.
be filled. It needs to be
Yes.
filled, and so it could close. So a lot of
Yes.
the times, well, all the time, there's power in storytelling, and
Hmm.
factual storytelling and
Yes.
historical context. So
Yes.
Ghetto Stories is definitely something that I want everybody to look out for, because I know whoever you're gonna bring to the platform is not gonna be no lackadaisical
Not at all.
joke thing. It's gonna be the
No.
real deal, and it's gonna be authenticity, and it's gonna be a story that will probably leave your mouth on the floor. So
I, I,
we
I
welcome
say
it.
to I say to the especially so for storytelling, um, in order to tell that story, you have to own that story. A lot of us are so busy fronting. You know what I mean? Because we want them to see we a certain way, and you've got to look a certain way and be a certain way. And because of that, now they miss out on their authenticity. They reach out, miss out on sharing their true self to the world, and they feel that sometimes when a person know too much about you, they have too much to say, right? But me, I tell people personally, I eat at them there, right? So run them. If I can tell you my story honestly and openly, and you can't see the value in that, then that's not my problem. That's yours. Because so many of us have these stories that we're hiding in places and spaces. We don't want nobody to know what's going on, and then we're dying in our little silos in these corners because we're so afraid of being raw, being real, being open, being honest with our stories. You see, when you start to do that,
Hmm.
you don't understand the freedom. When I arrived at George Brown College, I arrived at George Brown College after trying to go to college 3 times, and in between children, community, it didn't happen. So when it moment happened, and a brethren of mine, and you know him too, Donovan Samuels, right? And Donovan said to me, "Say what? You got the front line work forever. I do something. All this work what you do. Sir George Brown, I credit you for all of your work and what you do." And he said to me, "But I don't have any money right now to go school in a city." He said, "Me not ask you about no money, brethren. Meet me. And me have to meet him. I meet him at George Brown College, and we go upstairs, and he tell me to bring my resume, everything. I brought out my resume, everything that I did in the community, because I brought it. And the director looked at me and says, "You did all this?" And I was, at first I didn't want to answer. Was she trying to? And I said, "Yes, I did." And she says, "Oh, that means you don't need to go into first year, straight into second year." I
See?
said, "What?" She says, "Straight into second year." So while I was around in the community, I heard all these people talking, "Oh, if you're going to school, we can help you pay." So straight away, I went to AXA. I said, "AXA, I got accepted." AXA says, "How much do you need?" They write me a letter and paid. Then they said they had scholarships, and they listed out all the criteria for the scholarship. I said, "Well, I'm the second in my family, female. I'm a grandma. I'm this, I'm this." I list out the list. And I sit down there with a young lady, and we wrote it. And when they said, "Oh, by the way, you got the scholarship," I said, "What? Whose scholarship?" She said, "Jean Augustine. You got Jean Augustine." I said, "What? Are you kidding me?" All
But that,
because I did what?
but
I
that's
owned my story. I
but
got
that's
vulnerable and
that's great
owned my story.
information, because
Right?
you have some of the viewers that said some of those shared experiences are what helped mold her along the way. Now,
Yes.
as well, right? I want to also just bring up, because you mentioned a couple of things, that a lot of the things that you did in the community in the past helped you get accredited in school, right?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you can talk about that and let some of the viewers know, because there's a lot of people that have been doing local work in the community but may not have known that it could be used to their benefit in schooling.
Oh,
And
yes.
hold on, just before you, not even just the community, work within a certain sector. You get what I'm
Yes.
saying? You could be doing all this work for years and years, volunteering and whatnot, and that could work towards what you've been through. So just let them know how that works, or how
Oh,
that
yes.
can work.
Well, volunteering. So my volunteer life began at 13. My mother, you know them Jamaican mother there, you have a mother who have a friend who from Pitney and Pitney in a something you have in too.
Mm-hmm.
So she came and she said, "Ah, what am I do? Yeah, the Pitney them are lay around the house. Big old summer. The hospital up the road there, so make them go volunteer."
Mm.
And we went there and we had to volunteer. So from then I got an understanding as to what volunteering is. Actually, if you go up at where the hospital right up there, Keelan Wilson,
The
if
new
you go up
one.
there,
Hmm.
you'll see my pictures on the wall.
Or the Western.
Yeah, no, right at off the highway there. I forgot Humber River. I think
Oh,
that's
the
what
new
it's
one.
called.
Yeah, yeah. Sorry.
Yeah,
Yes.
if you go up there, go take a picture. You say maybe I'm pretty afro. Um, yeah,
So
and
hold
that
on,
was
hold on,
the
hold on, Mama
Big up.
Elaine, hold on. Let me, before you go into the story, just the piece. Here's the critical piece that I need from you.
mm-hmm,
Um, let people know that what you're doing right now, maybe in a capacity where you're not getting paid, you can transfer it potentially to getting credits taken off or getting a
yes,
year taken off in school. So I think that's
yes.
that piece. Let them know about that piece specifically.
I'm getting
Oh,
to
you're
that.
gonna
I'm
get
getting to
okay,
that. I'm
okay.
getting to that. So volunteering. So everything that you do, all who's here watching, wherever you go, do anything for anybody. First thing you ask them for is a reference letter. That's the first thing. I gave you these hours. Um, can I, you know, what is this for? I'm building my portfolio, right? That's what I did. I built that portfolio everywhere I went. Can you please write a letter to say that and whatever and call it whatever you want to call it, whatever name you a letter. And I brought it everywhere I went. I collected them. I have a binder full of them. Everybody, everywhere that I've ever done anything with or for, I make sure that they write it. So when you take these things, they have these prerequisites in these colleges, especially in the social work. They just want to know that you've been doing this cover for placements. You have to do 1,000 or something hours. I've done thousands of hours. So when they see that, oh, this is amazing. Boom, prerequisite for something. I get a year off, a year, different things. They word them differently, but those things are very, 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 very important when you're building. anywhere that you go, whoever the people are that are in charge, ask for a letter. Most important. 'Cause that's also this culture loves paper trail. Hmm? They love paper trail. So from they can see it on paper, in their eyes it was done. Right? So that's all you need. Make sure that it's documented that you've done it. Even if it's your brethren and your brethren have a business, make your brethren put your business on the letterhead. You understand? So and so came here and did this for me, written on the letterhead, bring it in. That helps to build. They see that you're serious, you're taken seriously, you've been doing some work, and they see that you actually they understand, paper trail. Or let them email you. You print off those emails. That's the next world that we live in. They love emails. Print off all the emails and walk with them. Let them see. If you've been
Yeah.
invited to, oh, they invited me. Even if you speak, even when I work for the city, two people, it's a program. Um, two people in the bill, it doesn't matter. It was a program.
Hmm. So, no, thank you for that. So, as you heard, what Miss Elaine is saying is anything you do, get it documented because it could count and be accounted for if you're in a specific lane, right? And so basically you're paying down on it, right? So your time, that's they call it sweat equity. So even if you're not getting paid for it, it's sweat equity. If you're putting in the time, there's a value to it, right?
Yes.
And so just before I know time is kind of going here,
Yes.
but I wanna so two things here to end off here. So one thing is who is the strongest woman that you've ever seen and or have encountered, either or, and then what is next for you and where could people find you? So who's the
Strongest,
strongest? Hmm.
strongest woman I know is my mommy, and may her soul rest. Because that lady did something that, back in those days in Jamaica, she she worked as a maid even in Jamaica, and she bought two houses,
Whoa.
rented out one, and she sold one, and then she sell them to come to Canada. Right? I saw her work here. I don't think she ever worked past $10 an hour.
Hmm.
She worked at Park Plaza Hotel for 25 years, and I think she was probably late three times, probably away, probably a week.
Different
You
breed.
understand?
Different.
So this lady had sixth grade education, and she taught my kids how to read. She had my son reading from he was two. By the time he was 3 years old, him could read. So when you talk about strength, she had a different kind of strength, and she was dealing with us, and especially when rambunctious, mad sick head, no good like me. What did they on road? Cause when me did a little bit, me was a terrible little something you never want to encounter. You understand? You never want to encounter me, and I laugh and talk about it before she went home to the ancestors. But she had my back, side, front, all of me, and it anywhere at the end of the day. You understand? Even though we had our moments. So when I saw what it took to have that kind of strength to raise children, and children that were yours and children that were not yours. You know what I mean? So she was the strongest I've come across. I've had a lot of other strong women in my life, but she builds that foundation is hers. And
Beautiful.
what's next in store for me? I have been working on getting up to the time, and smile for me up to the time with technology. So I am, yes, yes, Brooklyn, smile for me, baby girl. You understand? Uno two gentlemen, uno no. So here's the challenge. Age and stage in life, I'm used to that one-on-one communication. I'm used to hugging. I'm used to talking to people. So this whole um,
video
Zoom,
video
this,
call
this
and
this whole world has got me. So all the things I had to just put everything that I was doing on pause, because I had to get now step into myself and step into the new world. Right. So a lot of what I was doing lives, a lot of live sit down, with the banner live. So a lot of people didn't want, COVID came, and it's like we're not doing no live, we're not coming to no spear, I got offered to do so the same thing. So just look out. I'm gonna relaunch in June. I will get everybody, I'm looking out for all the love and the support. I've got some young people because I had to go for some young people. Big off Fam TV because I had to go for them to and sit with them for them to, moms, this is what needs to be done. And I had to humble myself as the elder and take in the message that the young people was giving me, even with Instagram and the face, aka Facebook, and all those things. My son said, he says, "Oh, grandma, we don't post on Facebook. That's so old, you
Mhm.
know." So I'm just like, I don't know. Them show me them Snapchat. Me say me can't even program it long enough to know if to do with Snapchat. Yeah, come talk about Snapchat. So I'm learning the technology, and I'm standing in gratitude, um, with lots of love and utmost respect for young people like yourselves who continue to grow and build platforms that people can grow and share, because a lot of what we don't do enough of is sharing, but understanding what that really means. So for me right now, it's that humbleness. I've taken a back seat, going and learning, even, the Instagram, just learning how to, you know, I just the other day I learned what a hashtag was, laugh. Yo,
Wait,
don't laugh.
you know about pound sign?
Yeah, understand.
Pound, yeah,
And then
pound.
say
Yeah.
the number thing and put and write something. Somebody just the other
And
day me really
you
learn.
change the pound sign on the phone to hashtag
Paul,
now.
You
A new
understand?
meaning all of a sudden.
Paul
Yes,
Alien. That's
yes.
how you
So
would say it, Paul Alien, not hashtag.
there you
Yeah,
go.
Say
it's a
Paul
pound.
Alien.
Yes,
It's pound zero to call or
pointing with the
pound something.
eye. See there.
The hashtag
So
now.
yes, so it's those things I had to learn, the world of technology. You know what I
Okay.
mean? I remember my first lady said, "Oh, we're gonna interview you. You want to see me?" Me just like push back foot ready for the interview. She says, "Oh, and I must send you the Zoom link."
Did she just say puss back foot?
Push back foot. Yeah. We say, I will say, kiss me granny, go outside.
What
Right?
is going on?
Right.
Dude?
No,
So
but
that's to
mhm,
show you, old school, right? So
yeah.
old school versus new school. So when she said that to me well and well, nobody not just look like me. You understand me? All I put
Mm,
on my hot girl eyelash, everything.
yeah.
And
The
then she
lilac
called and
thing.
she says, "Oh, and I'm sending you the Zoom link." I mean,
Mhm,
oh, I had to put on, and I'm
mhm,
getting used to that. And I've been on a few Zoom platforms and jumping on the IG live and learning those things and just understanding stepping into the new world, because it is
okay.
for me, and the new world of technology, and what that
Mhm,
really means, and how to be effective,
mhm.
right? And even yesterday in my conversation with you, you're asking me who's my audience. I said, if anybody who will listen to me, you know what I mean? That's my audience.
Anybody who
Anybody
Yeah,
who will listen to me. So if for
yeah.
the old lady, for the baby, or the baby, anybody
Mm,
will listen to me. But in marketing, they want you to have a target audience,
for sure.
right? So I've been looking. I'm starting working with the marketers, going through all my postings and seeing who likes them. Then he'll be able to tell me, who I should market what to.
Mhm.
See, because I'm
So,
old school in that
yeah.
area.
So let me
So
ask. So how can people reach you? So if anybody that's listening wants to support with your tech, with whatever it is, or even just how do they reach you?
jump on the Instagram, and as my boy Nip, what Mr. Hustle say, you know, DM
Yeah.
me.
DM you.
Hey.
Hey,
up to the time, but
hey,
DM me. She said,
hey,
DM
DM
just
me.
DM
Hashtag
me.
get
Is
with
it?
me. Yes.
Is it? See, I got
Let
it
them
right.
know.
I got it right.
Hashtag.
Watch your
Yes.
inbox I go,
That's
your
your
inbox I go
Hashtag
hashtag.
pull up now.
DM me.
DM me.
There
You
you
Your
go.
inbox
understand?
I
So
go
what's
pull
your
up.
Got
at? What's your
Yes.
at? Tell them the
You
at.
know,
What is the
ghetto
at?
story, ghetto stories.
Okay.
That's
Uh,
me. So find me there. I
mhm.
I I am excited. I am open to learning. I am teachable. I am coachable. You understand? And I'm humble.
All
So
right.
that's where I am at this time, because I know I have an amazing product. I
Mhm.
know what I want to do with it, and I'm not telling black stories. You know what I
Mm,
mean? So yeah, there's a lot of us, but I'm not telling black stories. I'm telling stories that
mm,
can uplift each other. Because outside of us being black, we're one race, human race,
mm-hmm.
right?
Mm.
We understand who we are as black people. We don't need people to tell us who we are. We need to tighten up our own, look after our own backyard before we
For
can get
sure.
people, get, involve other people in our backyard. And that's how
Okay.
I feel about that.
All right.
For
So
for those watching, I put the Instagram handle up on the page so you can join and support and
mhm.
follow Miss Elaine.
It's
Yes.
at G.h.E.T.T.o underscore stories, IES at the end. All
Yes.
right. So we
So
want to
now we
thank
see me.
you. Yeah,
Oh,
we want to thank you for coming on
Yes,
and doing
mommy.
your thing.
Uh,
But yo, you don't know what it is with me and you, moms, right?
it-
So
it's love. And
yeah,
and 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 like a firehouse, Brooklyn. I
yes,
can't
mommy.
I
Me I go
can't.
DM you. Me I
You
go
understand?
hashtag. Me I go
Joey,
hashtag DM you.
Joey's, you already know. You already know. You
yeah.
understand? It's
Yes,
called
you were at my birthday event, so it's much love.
foundation. It's called groundation. You understand? We
Mm.
Sure.
pass foundation now. We're grounded. We
Yeah.
are grounded in the knowledge of this is what we are supposed to do, not lip service. We
Mm-hmm.
don't have no lip service. Action, not a bag of mouth. You see me?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm saying blessings to all of you. It's as an honor to be here. It's an honor to be honored to be on here. You understand? And I love it and continue to just, do all that you guys do. Right?
All
And I
right.
know say me there and the time I know want me to come on again, me debout.
All right.
You
Linkage.
understand?
Mm.
Blessings.
All right,
Peace.
blessings, and again,
Peace.
thanks for joining us on
Peace.
the show. It was
Always.
much, much, much blessings.
Yes.
Heavy, heavy, heavy. Weight banging, weight banging, weight